Morning. So, I wanted to talk a little bit again about why God permits suffering. This is an important topic, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this video a part two to the last video that I did, where I did some reminders on some scriptures on why things are the way they are, where I quoted 1 John 5, verse 19, which explains to us that the whole world is lying in the power of the wicked one. Now, back when I was really trying to I've always called myself a Jayut, but when I was trying to connect more and to the beliefs I was taught as a child, I started to do research against them and then research for them, because that's the only way to really find out if something really works. You can't only look for things that support what you want it to support. You have to look for things against it as well. And, you know, every time I try to look at the world and say, well, maybe the world is not being run by the devil, I was brought up by injustice, unfairness, wickedness, and the fact that all these signs and symbols in the world that are in the Bible as positive things have now been switched around and used for people's agendas. So I was unable to disprove that there's a spirit of wickedness running the world. And then when I started to look for evidence that it was true, I was able to see that from fashion, art, music, all the important things, all the beautiful things that make us human have been corrupted, and the corruption is so deep that were you to remove it, majority would be against you, because then the whole thing would have to shut down and start again, and people are not willing for that to happen. But what is the message of the Bible? The message of the Bible is that from the beginning, humans wanted to do their own will, not God's will. What is the philosophy of Satanism? Do what thou wilt, do your own will. Why would Satan tell humans to do their own will? Because your own will without the Spirit of God will always, not without God's will included, the person who made you, the person who sees all, will always lead to disaster. So we have the evidence now that the whole world is lying in the power of the wicked one. And you can also go in to look into who runs the world. Who are the groups of people that say what has to happen? Who funds them? It all comes back to money, because at the end of the day, the fact that the world is run on money is the real problem with the world. The world should be run on love. If the world was run based on love, we would be all right. But no, from the time we're born, there's something called a cost of living. And literally, if you can't pay the cost, you die. And people act like that is fair. And people act like, everyone was given $1 million at birth, and some people wasted it and some people didn't. That is not the case. We also like to perpetuate different programs that we've been taught, programs that tell us that race is a real thing when it's a social construct, things that tell us that some people are better than others because they're different looking or different in some way. And we are the ones who uphold these beliefs. The beliefs are put out there, they're fed to us repeatedly. And then because of not seeking God and seeing what He says, we uphold them. So there's all of that to look at about the fact that the world is under mankind's law. But there's something else we need to look at, especially in terms of all the deaths and stuff that's going on, when it says, when we ask, why does God permit suffering? Now remember, if we are under our own rule and we are under free will, then we are under our own law. It is for us to pray, it is for us to seek God, and to not seek Him in a way that is convenient for us, but as He truly is. So for instance, a lot of people, they would say, yes, I believe in God, but when you look at them, a lot of their practices, their customs, the history of the things they do, are tied to pagan worship or some form of Satanism that they are not willing to let go of. Now view God as a person, since we are made in His image. How would you feel if people knew that you were raped, and then on the day that you were raped, they decided to hold a celebration and then tell you it's for you? That's kind of what human beings have done from our church ceremonies, all the different things that we do. We've included pagan worship and pagan ideas, things that were pagans were started with Nimrod, who in the Bible is said was in direct opposition to Jehovah. So by siding with something that comes from, like even how Easter is named after Ishtar, which in the Bible you can see God's disdain that people were in His temple worshiping Ishtar. So we have to understand that this world, this ain't no start. This has been in the works by the devil for a long, long time in order to insult the Most High. And I don't want to keep the video too long. But you have to understand, once you're under your own will and you're under free will, that's a problem. But then there's another problem. Remember, we are children of Adam and Eve who sinned. The wages of sin is death. We were first given everlasting life, but because we sin, now we have to die. Why? Look at the universe. The universe is made of so many eternal things that are self-fueling and that continue to work. Why? Because they obey universal law. Who set the law? Who sets the standard? If there's no law and there's no standard, what happens? Chaos. What happens with chaos? Death. We are living vessels of chaos. Even when we want to do what is right, what is bad is with us all the time because of that. But there's something that I want to share with you, right? And y'all have to understand these things. We are living in a Russian roulette time. We're living in a time where anything can happen. Time and unforeseen occurrences befall us all. But we do have the option of seeking God as He truly is, praying to Him and asking Him for help. But even then, sometimes we will face problems. But that is because from the beginning, from the time when Adam and Eve sinned, God had already set up a plan saying that He was going to bring a promised seed and fix things, and the seed has already come and things are in the works for being fixed. So we still have hope. So even when we feel like somebody dead or something awful has happened and it's a hopeless situation, it's not hopeless even though it feels that way. Why does it feel that way? Because humans were not made to die. So we don't have that ability to accept death, right? But look at what the Bible says in Revelation 21:4. God will wipe out every tear from their eyes, and death will be no more. Neither will mourning, nor outcry, nor pain be any more. The former things have passed away. So death and all the different mourning, crying, and pain that we experience now is called a former thing in the last book of the Bible. The Bible is explaining, the Bible has come through, and some of the prophecies have already happened, and some are coming soon. So what it's explaining to you is that we're going to get to a point. You see all the things about Daniel and Nebuchadnezzar and just all the different prophecies saying that the Christ was going to come, where He was going to be born, all that has already happened. So we have reason to put confidence in the Bible. But then if we look at what it says, that the former things are going to pass away. So death itself is going to pass away, right? Or when we look at Psalms where it says the meek shall inherit the earth, things will get better, I pray. I'm going to make it someday. The meek will inherit the earth. Now I know what life's really were. Sister Kalonji said that, right? There is people who have read those parts of the Bible can put confidence in the fact that other parts of the Bible have already come to pass, and God cannot lie. The devil is a liar, not God. So remove anything from your life that is a lie. Continue to research things and see how you can act in a way to please God. Because we are already told that the end is going to come. Not the end to the world, the end to death, mourning, outcry, and pain. Can you imagine a world where everybody is singing, where people are joyful, where you don't have to use money in order to get things done? You can't imagine it because it's so far off, because it's not a part of our programming. Our programming says we need the government, we need this body, we need that body, and so we're in a never-ending loop of pain. We keep losing people and crying about the people we've lost. But I want you to understand that God has to permit suffering in this world so that this world can fail, so that His new world, which He already promised from the beginning, from Adam and Eve time, He promised the seed has already come and said that He's the king of the kingdom. And you have prayed the Lord's Prayer and said, Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. All of that that is to come to pass. And the only way it can pass is that human governments have to fail. The Bible says there will be a great tribulation, but it also says that there's going to be a paradise on earth. There is evidence for this. As I said before, y'all can check out the evidence on jw.org. You can research whatever you want on that. There's evidence not only on jw.org. You can Google different things about the Bible, and you can come to understand something. The East is not confused about the Bible. They're not confused like we are. They know, because they're ancient people, the different things that have come to pass that have made them who they are. The West has on blinders and keeps creating satanic ideology. There's a reason for the way the world is. But you know why God allow it? So that it can fail, so that humans can learn respect for the creator, the standard, the thing that's going to make things better. It will come. We will see our loved ones again. When Jesus came, he did all the miracles to show us that these are the things that his kingdom would bring. Remember the woman with the flow of blood. She barely touched his garment. That's all she did. But she had faith. Can we be the same? Can we build our faith so that even though we ain't even actually touch the Lord yet, we just touch his garment, we can be healed? This is all a mental and spiritual war. Forget about your body and your comfort zone and focus on what is really going on here, who you are spiritually, because in the end, that is what will save you. I love you. Take care.